Saturday showdown. KT Rolster versus B&K Fear.
But let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, into the draft for game number 2. Fingers crossed, we're going to see a little bit more of a competitive one. And this time around, we will have a bunch of champions fearlessly banned away. And thankfully, that Jhin build cannot hurt us until the next series.
Yes.
That is going to make me very, very happy.
Well, the good thing is the Jhin build can't hurt anyone ever.
Actually, that's a good point. The Jhin build doesn't hurt. That's the problem. Oh, no. You're right. So maybe I shouldn't be worried about it. Well, Varus and Rumble, both once again going to be banned. It was Lucian, Karma, Nocturne, and the Nautilus that were taken away last time, and that seems to be a pretty similar trend here.
Lucian going to remain in this Prero spot. We might just have the same bans because it is D+ with first pick again.
Yep, exactly.
Which has been a bit of a departure from what CV Max has done a lot of this year.
Yeah.
Often picking blue side.
Nautilus being banned again. So it wasn't a strategy to try and get a specific bottom lane. I think that they were just banning Nautilus from Effort.
I mean, it is Effort's most played champion by a large margin.
Yeah. So. It's just weird because I feel like there are a lot of ways you can punish Nautilus. And so I don't know whether it's necessarily something that you want to be picking super early. But instead,
Jace first pick.
Jace.
I would have rather seen like a first pick Lulu, if I'm honest, if we're talking about strange and unusual first picks. But Perfect does enjoy playing this matchup with Yorick.
He does.
But they don't need to get that right now because they can get the Lulu lane I was alluding to.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, I think KT are very happy with this exchange. And there's no Lucian to punish this lane. So I think Smash and Korea have something else in mind. Maybe it's a Caitlyn lane of some kind, but there's no Bard anymore. If it's Ezreal Nico, I have bad news for one particular spacer in Plaid.
Yeah, I mean, there are two
and for every
D+
fans out there. Okay, they're going to do the Caitlyn lane.
Caitlyn is a little bit more fun. It does
Caitlyn Lux?
Yeah, if it is Caitlyn Lux, I really like this. So Korea going to be picking that one up. This will be a very difficult lane for aiming and Effort to play out if Smash and Korea are going to play this well. And Smash has a lot of experience with this exact duo, was playing it a whole lot when he was with T1 in Challenger. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Korea can do on the Lux. We've already seen Keria have phenomenal performances on this champion. As there is the Yorick lock-in. No surprise there, as Perfect will be taking that one into the Jace.
There's just not that many prio mids right now in this meta that you'd want to get instead. And so, in game 2 of a Fearless draft, so that's just going to be the obvious pick here. I think D+ always knew that was going to come through, and they were okay with this Yunara Lulu coming through because they had the Caitlyn Lux planned. I mean, it's crazy how many eclectic lane Smash played with Reckless in Challengers, because Reckless loved playing Janna.
Caitlyn Janna, yeah.
They loved playing the Rumble Ashe lane as well and stuff like that, so he's very well versed at these types of punish lanes. As the Twisted Fate feels like a strong ban for how Showmaker and D+ have been trying to play a lot of their recent games, including at EWC, the qualifier there. As a Vi ban comes through, I think that's really smart. Wukong also maybe should be a consideration. Like, Annie Wukong could be fantastic for KT here, because they have the Lulu as well.
Not to mention, it'd be pretty good for D+.
Yeah.
They could get their hands on it.
I do think it would do wonders for them. I just think it's so horrifying to try to play Jace into that.
Let's see what this last ban is going to be. Lee Sin taken away from Lucid. Has been a favorite.
I wonder if they'll just ban the Wukong here and say you can't have both, and you can make your choice, because obviously right now KT Rolster have pick priority on the second pick. So I mean, they would love to have both themselves D+, like we were saying. Both teams would really enjoy it, but they can't get both because KT has first pick.
Yeah.
Post second phase. So let's see what they decide to ban. A lot of thought going into this one, and ultimately it will be Pantheon instead.
Wow, Pantheon's an interesting ban. And so now I imagine something like an Annie to be locked in, a Wukong to be locked in. Wasn't Lilia. That was not on my bingo card.
Yep.
But it is an old favorite of Cuz's, and I believe got a little bit of a buff on this patch, if memory serves.
It's pretty tough to play that, I think, with this draft, though, and it doesn't empower the Lulu at all. The Neferi, on the other hand,
that's a fun one.
Great with Lulu. Great for getting backline access onto the Jace and the Caitlyn. And also great in Deluxe just in general, because you can skip the binding.
Also, in theory, it's a flex pick as well. If something that's picked in mid lane is an okay matchup for it, BDD could be the one playing it as well.
Yeah, it's technically possible.
Somewhat tricky, but it wasn't what I was expecting.
Do you take Annie here as D+? I just don't think it works anymore. It's too risky. Victor is a lot of extra damage, but I'm not inspired by this pick unless we get some sort of jungle here that really has great CC. Oh, it's Skarner. Okay.
Skarner works.
I guess that does work. I mean, it's not just a Canyon exclusive anymore.
It's just a D+ player exclusive, I guess. As effort with the Teemo hover this time. Last time it was the Nasus. Susan has been picking up the wins. Was, of course, his normal hover. But BDD going to go back to his Talia.
This is something that Wadid has been talking about a lot. He really feels that with the change to Phase Rush, that Talia definitely has an opportunity to come back in the meta in a big way. And it is one of BDD's favorites here. Great into the Victor, honestly, and can implement this with the Yorick to great success through side lanes.
Yep. There's not a lot of rock value that you can get out of this composition. Obviously, Jace a little bit with his To the Skies, I believe. The net as well. Otherwise, not much.
I think the way they want to play this is Nefiri goes in, sets up a Wild Growth combo, and then BDD follows up with a shove on set targets that end up getting caught by the Wild Growth.
Yep, put it inside the goalie wall as well,
I think
and that'll work.
It's fairly vulnerable, though, in this draft, and if it gets caught by the Skarner, it just doesn't have a great way of protecting itself, and then the Lux follow-up is pretty easy here for D+. I was pretty down on this draft for D+ until we got the Skarner pick. I think it kind of saves it for them. I don't think they won the draft, but at least it feels very even now between these two. My trust, and if you're a D+ fan watching this, I think what you really need to be focused in on, what you're honing in on right now, what you're holding your hands together and saying, this is going to be a game 3. I know it because you trust Smash's Caitlyn. You trust that bottom lane. And we'll see what Career can do on the Lux here. Not known for this pick, but the bottom duo itself is very powerful. They need to put this Yunara down early, generate that lead, get Caitlyn through the mid game, and then the late game, they can shine.
Yep, I think so too, but maybe it's going to be a bridge too far getting to that late game. We'll just have to see how KT play it early. Let's get onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the second game of this series. See whether DK can have a better time this time around. Mainly because, and the reason I'm focusing on them is they're the ones that sort of stopped playing the game halfway through. And I'm really hoping that that does not happen again, that we see them find a little bit more of that confidence to be able to get some success here in this one. It just felt strange. It was a weird game.
Flat. Again, I think KT did a good job of avoiding those fights, but still, D+ dropped the ball. I think there were a lot more plays they could have made, a lot more confidence. Like, for example, the Herald they didn't take, and some of the other stuff that just felt a little bit bizarre. They had several opportunities to push Dragon advantages that they didn't go for. Heal is going to be traded.
Yeah, Aiming was able to get to the wave, stack up the Q, and feel pretty good for these early trades.
It's really good for Aiming when he is in range of the Caitlyn. Obviously, at level 1, if his Q is stacked. So, till level 2, Career is just going to try to offer as much poke as he can. And then once level 2 is hit, then Smash and Career will have a much better time. They don't have it first, however, so they'll have to wait.
Yeah, right now it's surprising that Smash and Career are getting shoved in by this Yunara Lulu. But I think once a few buttons get put down, and the DK combos can be very, very scary.
It's going to be binding fishing here for Career, as we do have BDD in a very aggressive spot, and Lucid's wrapped all the way around into Cuz's jungle. Yes, Cuz is looking to try to kill at level 3.
Yeah, this is an Nefiri move. You can definitely do it. On-target ability is pretty powerful.
BDD also teasing a bit of a rotation in, and now he's trying to catch Showmaker. They're doing a lot with this pressure, but unfortunately, Cuz is going to lose a lot of his jungle for this.
Yeah. So this will be Lucid being able to clear out that entire top side. He didn't waste any time sitting around for any ganks or anything like that. So we are going to have a look at the amount of times played here, and Smash 1-0 on the Caitlyn. Otherwise, it is first picks abound outside of Shiu, 2-4 on the Jace.
I think it's a little bit of a And a temperature gauge on the meta has shifted significantly. We're seeing picks like the Victor come through. The Skarner was on fringe meta, but really only a Canyon exclusive. But after watching Canyon play it a few times, I think more teams are getting interested in the pick. As we do have, you know, this bottom pressure once again for KT. Like just like last game, they got near pressure, right? Like near kills, near real value, and then didn't get it. And now the Skarner actually has a farm lead, and D+ have that advantage almost exclusively on the top side of the map. I mean, actually, at this point, outside of the 10 gold advantage that Career has, that is the case.
Yep. Feeling pretty good about how things are going in this early game. Obviously, Yorick is looking to scale up, but it's kind of surprising that Lucid's been able to find this kind of early game. It's just whether or not Lucid can actually turn it into something later on, because I feel like that was where the biggest disconnect was in the last game. Lucid just getting caught out in weird spots, being in weird spots throughout the mid to late game. And so if they tidy that up, get on the same page, then it could be a much better story here for D+. We're still yet to see that, as Guluwal will come on down here, as Shu does need a couple of extra bonks in order to take that one down. It does eventually do so. It's a big wave that has been stacked up, though, here from Perfect.
It's really, oh, that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Really going to be tough for D+ to find their first in this game. You know, the Skarner gank isn't going to be possible unless a lane is overextended without vision. Bottom lane was where they had a lot of control. There's tons of vision there. That was part of the sacrifice of Cuz. And trying to gank mid lane to this Taliyah, again, it's possible, but it just requires BDD to be kind of unaware, and he's got a lot of defensive vision there as well. So, you know, the lead that the Skarner has, like you said, what does it necessarily mean? It actually doesn't even have it anymore.
Yeah, Cuz has been able to actually find a whole bunch of camps here, as Lucid moving towards the bottom side. A lot of pings out from KT. They know exactly where he is. Now we are going to get some value out of the Caitlyn Lux. Great double binding there from Korea. They do avoid the snap trap. You can see there is a lawnmower coming down.
Yeah, Cleanse is on cooldown now as well.
Oh dear. Light binding will connect there onto Effort.
Effort's so low. He may just have to heal out. He's actually going to just get away with this potentially, but aiming is going to be alone then.
Yeah, Lucid is going to spot that both of them are still here. We should be able to guarantee some of these as the flash in from BDD, but there is the turnaround from Showmaker, finds the last
BDD's
auto!
face, man.
Oh, that is such a big mistake.
You can't miss those if you're going to flash for the all-in. Oh, man, that is...
And
like, that's the kind of thing that does not happen in pro games too often. That's a solo queue moment right there from one of the best mid laners of all time.
yeah, Showmaker as well watched him trip and actually just pushed his back. You know, like he really forced that one down, saw his angle, and he took it. But man, that really should be reading KT 1-0. Feel like BDD did have him dead to rights.
Oh man, that's just no. I don't care what fan of a team you are. Like you probably watch that and you feel pain in your soul.
I think pain, but also you can relate.
Yeah.
You know, we've all had those moments where it just doesn't quite work.
But you know, that's the whole thing about watching the LCK is you're like, I want to see players that don't do that. BD doesn't do that. He never does that. He's never done that before, like ever in his life, surely. As Showmaker here drops the ult out early. BDD, I was like, you don't have mana. I've got just enough mana for my combo. Hits level 6 as well.
And then he hits the shove. Like, he does the hard bit.
Yeah, and then the easy part. Yikes, he's just too far to the right.
The big rock, that would have been very dead Showmaker. And he wanted to guarantee. Yeah, he wanted to guarantee that it wasn't going to be flashable, right?
That's like the kind of thing that it's just so hard to put into words, but like you said, everybody knows the feeling.
Oh, yeah. And like, because he knew he had it. Like, the hard bit he'd done.
Yeah.
Oh. So sad. Anyway, aiming is looking for a little bit of an angle here as he has pressed his R button. Lucid looking for a little bit of a battle against Cuz. Could be in trouble as he decides he wants to just drive away. Will be able to do so as the doggos get a bit confused about where to go. The other one is actually Lucid's doggo.
I don't think this will matter too much for the grand scheme of how the mid lane matchup is going overall for BDD in the short term here, but it does really hurt morale-wise. As Taliyah's a little bit more set up than, you know, burst damage. And speaking of...
Yeah, ulti comes through for Cuz, and Showmaker, he has no flash. He is just very dead, ladies and gentlemen. And that is BDD able to get his revenge in the end. So nicely done there from KT. And the fact that Cuz is getting this ball rolling, that is very, very helpful here for the Nefiri.
Now, the Yunara is having a terrible time and is not able to farm, as aiming is just really struggling on the other side of the map where the jungle attention isn't. And Lucid does have flash and ult available, so it's really hard for him to farm. This cannon wave as well is just going to be more damage to this turret. Smash might be able to get even an additional plate here. They have vision, and BDD is here, but he does not have Weaver's Wall. See if Lucid really wants to heavily commit. Aiming's fairly low. They don't have vision of BDD.
They do know that Lucid is there, though, as Effort spots that out. BDD moves on over. The seismic shove interrupts, and Lucid may have to flash to get out of this one, but he is very tanky. Slurkle not really bothering him either, as he will just be able to careen his way out, just drive his way out. What is the mode of perambulation for a lawnmower called?
Is he, like...
pushed?
I mean, he normally is pushed, but I guess he just rolls?
Yeah. Does it? No, but he's got caterpillar tracks.
Is he slithering, but he's a lawnmower?
Slithering would be very funny. It's all right. Arcane Storm comes down here in this mid lane as Showmaker finding a lot of damage, and there's the death ray. That's just a solo bolo, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, well, the lead does matter in this case, as Showmaker does have enough damage there to just run BDD down. BDD didn't have his ghost for a few more seconds there, just could not escape the damage. And Deathfire Touch, really strong on Victor in these types of situations where you're ahead. You could just continue to layer the damage down. Showmaker definitely showcasing his mastery of this reintroduced rune very early on.
Yep.
As you can see here, he's just burning him down, burning him down. Gravity Field comes down. There's no way for BDD to get out of it, and the Chaos Storm is just burning him to death. Or Arcane Storm, whatever it's called now.
I think you can go with both, because it used to be the one of them, and now it's the other one. And Arcane's the TV show.
And Arcane is like not that chaotic, so...
Yeah. I mean, it was in Season 2, you know, with the Victor Realm. It was pretty chaotic. I didn't quite understand what was going on.
Bauhaus wouldn't know.
He definitely wouldn't know. But neither do I, as it turns out. That's something that I never told him, is that even though he didn't watch it, I also didn't really understand it a lot of the way towards the end. So maybe we're on the same page. That's all right. Effort is just, we've got a different duo lane.
Weaver's Wall value could be high here. BD needs a few more seconds. They need to buy time for it. I don't think he's actually going to join. This is just going to be a bit of a win here for D+, as the tempo is definitely in their favor right now. They're utilizing it well, as aiming is so far behind. Just trying to rush up here and get what he can and stop the push, as Lucid is gonna just get out. I don't know what they thought was gonna happen there, but they gotta do something to push him away.
Well, here's a flash ulti. Is Smash now having to deal with Cuz. Now he's gonna turn his attention to Career, as aiming with the ulti does get the slowdown with that Arc of Ruin. And the Impale is just gonna pick up BDD. He's slammed into the wall. They will lose Smash for it, but a 1-for-1 after all that investment. And now Showmaker just with some free time in this mid lane.
BD recently, in all of his games that I've been watching of him, it feels like he's permanently playing on tilt, but like you can understand why with some moments, you know? It is, like his death here gives the money over, right? But it also is like Showmaker just being like, well, cool, I guess I'll just get more ahead by hitting the E objectives. Like, I'm not killing the players, I'm just killing the structure. You're getting more plate gold, denying more farm. By the way, he's 30 CS ahead.
Yeah, this is a massive lead. And Showmaker, Cuz, he's going to look for Showmaker here. But does get his ult out, and then Cuz is just going to immediately leave. Shock Blast is going to come on through here. Gullywall not doing too much, but will at least disengage here from the situation. And the Maiden just going to be hanging out here in this bottom lane. Smash making his way back in. He's once again, he's building a collector. Like, he's just making me nervous with all these builds, man. Every single time.
It's tough, you know, in this situation, in this game, to criticize his build, though, because the game state super favors, I think, the path he's taken.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
That angle for Lucid, I mean, he's just on the edge. BDD, already some's gone. It's a roughie. And what they've done with Smash this game is almost like old lane swap Caitlyn meta, where they're just like, all right, we'll put him where the plates are, and he's going to get those. And so he got the whole bottom turret. Now he's looking to get the top turret, and he is 0-1-1, but has a 1.1k gold lead because he's forced aiming away from farm and is just getting so much plates under his belt. And like,
this is
looks
how
like he's just going to get a second turret.
Yeah, this is how Deft used to play Caitlyn. Ever since like 2015 or something like that, where you just march her from turret to turret, and because you have this double-ranged lane that no one can really walk up to you in, you can just siege relentlessly for the entire early game. He did it with Jinx as well. It's a similar story. Smash really is playing that style, and what it does is it gives you so much early game money that it can propel you into a late game, especially with a composition like this, with a Skarner, with a Victor. You want to be on a few items before you're really comfortable. Skarner's going to be unkillable, and Victor is just going to be doing so much AoE damage. Already, Showmaker's done the most damage in the game, but that's only 8K. We're only 13.5 minutes in. That number is going to be absurd later on.
They showcased how far behind BDD is, even in experience in this game. He is even in levels with aiming briefly here, as he does just now hit level 10, but it's once again a game state here for D+, but even better than game 1, where it feels kind of unlosable with the advantages they have. The Dragons are once again KTs, right? They had Double Dragon last game, they have Double Dragons here. It's Cloud, Soul, but I don't know if they get to win fights around Dragon for a while now, with aiming being as far behind as he is. If you have one of these two behind, right, like aiming or BDD, then the game is still kind of playable, especially if it's only BDD and aiming can still do that late game damage. And that was the case last game, right? Like BDD was behind, but aiming was on the Ashe. He was super ahead. He's super behind this time, so they're both losing, and I just don't know if KT are going to be able to avoid fights and then find their way to a late game this time around.
Yeah, this is the thing that's really scary. There is at least not a lot more easy turrets to start hitting. As Smash has taken out the entire outer ring already. It's 3 turrets to 0. A large reason why we see a 4.2k gold advantage here at 14.5 minutes. It's not because this game has been bloodthirsty. It's because they've been breaking all of their stuff.
Only 2 plates total have been picked up for KT. Like, they have barely hit the turrets in this game. So it's not only that they haven't gotten anything in return where it's like, oh, there's a few turrets they're about to get. They're not even close to getting them.
And that's like actually a really good example here in this game of the value of turret plates. Like, man, there's so much money in those things.
The truth is, too, though, in a weird world where KT just win a huge team fight, you know, on an upcoming objective, like Herald, for example, if D+ fumble, then there's a lot of standing gold they can pick up very rapidly to even this game out. But I don't see it. I think D+ would have to have a huge fumble.
Oh, man, the footwork there from Lucid, or at least the Caterpillar track work there from Lucid, is the flash from Cuz. He's just going to look and try and turn it onto a kill onto Smash. He will be able to do it as now Lucid finds the Impale, and Shu finds the skies. Showmaker is zoning. Another 3 people away as now Perfect gets a rock thrown at him, and it's a double kill for the Jace. Flash forward, light binding from Korea. This guy's Lux is looking pretty good, ladies and gentlemen, as the shove does pick up Showmaker, but the Death Ray is going to help Korea claim the kill onto BDD. That is an ace for Smash and here for TK.
And at that moment when Smash died, it looked like maybe this was going to be that insane fumble for D+, but they played the follow-up in the fight so well. With the lead that they have, when everything's used on the AD carry, they have another carry, and they have a great setup for him. So when we watch this initially, it looks like, okay, Lucid may have kind of messed this up because he can't heal for Smash now. Smash is with a Lux, right? So there's not a lot of CC here. And then Cuz just gets on top of Smash. Smash gets killed, by the way, by aiming. Gets the shutdown gold here. Lucid's very low. Then they turn on to Showmaker, but they can't actually kill him. Showmaker forces BDD to flash because he's that far ahead. And then from here, it's like, okay, well, Lucid didn't die. He's still alive, and he's going to run you down. This flash here from Career also phenomenal. Showmaker just picks up so much extra money. If he was ahead before, can't wait to see those numbers now. He's probably all pushing 3K. Well, not quite. 2.4. Still, massive advantages here for D+ now, and I don't see. I think that might have just been the moment that brings us to game 3.
I think so too, especially with the fact that Shu got a whole bunch of those kills, right? Because in this game, oftentimes the Yorick is a great pick into the Jace if all things are equal, right? If you're allowed to sort of weather the storm and then scale up. If the Jace starts to snowball, which, yeah, 2.5k, that will class that as a snowball.
I think so.
You will just stay in a horrible position and then not be able to play side lanes, and then you're not a great team fighter either. And so it's sort of the rough end of the stick that you kind of get if you find yourself in this position. And that is precisely where Perfect is right now. after that incredibly well-fought team fight from DK.
When you consider how several of these moments went for KT, like BDD barely getting caught by the Impale in the top lane, barely messing up his all-in on the Showmaker. It had kind of a butterfly effect on this game, though.
Yeah, honestly, if he like just flash killed Showmaker in the early game, I feel like KT would be on their way to a perfect game. That's the kind of like swing that I felt happen in that moment.
You got to be winning somewhere, but when your mid lane is just kind of self-inflicted losing, and then the bottom lane is obviously struggling into the matchup, it's hard to say like that KT messed up what happened after that, right? Like, because now the choices they can make are so limited, and D+ is so far ahead that Showmaker kind of just walks at them and kills them. And Smash is well and truly on his way to his second item, which is going to be a huge spike for him as well. Once he hits that,
Serpent's Fang?
it's, don't, I mean...
Not this time.
There's
He's going Infinity Edge.
There's
and actually,
there's
like,
a pickaxe there.
Yeah, for a 2-item spike, I really like Infinity Edge and the Collector for Caitlyn.
If you're not ahead, I feel like it's terrible, but he is so ahead.
Yeah.
And
okay, Cuz is going to immediately lose half of his health, but does manage to get the ulti off onto Shiu, and BDD was lying in wait. Gets the shove and helps take down this Jace.
The problem is on the cross map, it's a pretty heavy cross
Wait a second. Here's a money delivery over to Showmaker. Lucid going to be able to help take down another inner turret. So what was that? That was Shiu for inner turret mid lane, inner turret bottom lane.
But BDD's going to get the bounty.
Oh, never mind then, Wolf. And it also gets all of the plates in the top lane as well. So yeah.
He's only 2,000 gold behind now. Is Shiu here also playing pretty respectfully? But I think just there's too much collapse, and even the wild growth connecting on him, he is just not able to get out. And the kill goes over to Cuz, which is okay, but I don't think ideal. He's the only gold lead right now after that shutdown.
And Lucid doesn't care. I mean, he's wearing his super cheap belt from the thrift shop, and he's got his bandle pipes. He's just on the corner playing some music. You want to throw him $1, he'll still be happy. Okay, Wolf?
Yeah, he's on the men's fashion subreddit. He's like, I bought this at Kohl's.
Look at the value.
Can I pull this off? And like, he knows he can. And all the comments are like, yes, man. Oh, my God.
As it turns out, he just looks good in anything.
Yeah.
Cuz going to take his menagerie over towards Smash, though. And he is kind of making it his business to just try and kill Smash as often as he can. That has been twice so far. Has at least been working, as now KT finding themselves out onto the map. Relatively aggressive position as Lucid just throwing rocks around. And he can do that. Showmaker getting hit by a shove once again, just barely out of turret range, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, BDD is like, maybe I shouldn't have brought him closer to me, but aiming is here, so it's not just the BDD problem, and Showmaker is probably just dead.
Yeah, aiming was ganking. That's kind of crazy. Dash Cannon gets him out of the shove, but that doesn't matter. That just gives aiming the time to catch up and take down the victor. So Showmaker a little overextended in this one.
I feel like aiming has had kind of quietly a very big game. Like, he's actually moving around the map very well, despite some of the struggles he's had, right? He was matching the Caitlyn in the top lane, trying to defend, trying to match farm where he can. Getting these big shutdowns, though, is massive for him, and he's now able to match the goal of the Caitlyn, which is crazy. And Showmaker here just kind of, I don't want to call it lazy, but it definitely was a little bit haphazard the way he's moving around the map because he knows his jungler's nearby, but just too much KT here, and there's too much mobility. His Cuz is able to come over here as well, and like there's just no out for Showmaker. I think flashing that shove was
dash cannoning and picking up all of the rocks was not exactly what you wanted to do, but at least doesn't get shoved, so can't really blame him for it. Ace in the hole, on to aiming. As we do come out of the replay, does look like KT not wanting to commit to anything else, and aiming doesn't quite have his ulti back up and available again yet. So that can make things a little bit difficult to team fight. Seismic Shove they have been very good from the mid game onwards here from BDD. That one not quite hitting the mark.
Okay, this is now D+. I mean, the smaller gold lead, but still a lot of oppressive control over the map. Showmaker still has flash. He didn't use it when he died earlier, and they're, again, shadowing him. Lucid's in the same area. Can KT kind of make Lightning strike the same place twice here? Maybe catch Showmaker, punish Lucid. Those are the kind of things they're going to have to look to do here. When LDR is done, maybe they can actually hurt Lucid. Right now, I think maybe he's not the best target, but they're trying to keep him at bay. They're trying to clear these waves. They're just kind of hunkering down and scaling up as best as they can. Here comes BD, an aggressive play here.
Yeah, Weaver's wall.
Smash.
Yeah, Smash could be in a little bit of trouble as, of course, Cuz is after him. Lucid taking a fair bit of damage here. Smash will be taken out. The Wild Growth helping so much as the teleport in from Shiu. They just destroy the doggo. And I guess they still have an 80 carry as Shiu shows up. My God, this Arcane Storm! It is absolutely ridiculous as Showmaker is just raining damage down onto KT. Flashes to try and get revenge onto Aiming. Sends him scurrying home, and now Effort going the wrong direction, but may actually survive as DK, they got Baron on the mind.
Yeah, and D+ here are going to be able to turn this 6,000 gold lead into 8K plus in a matter of moments, and...
That's D+.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, that's the... Never mind.
This angle on the...
That Weaver's wall's crazy!
It just, like, sent him through the fat wall. Cuz Flash is here because I think he thought he didn't have enough burn damage there. And it doesn't have Flash, and Lucid was waiting for the ult. Like, he was like, I know exactly what you're going to do. He's so ready to answer that, and then he just instantly dies, and then Showmaker just kind of walks towards them with his massive wallet.
Circle get big.
And that will be Baron. This is, I mean, the damage is absurd. It's actually wild. Victor, I think, you know, when he gets fed, he is also going to utilize the Deathfire touch incredibly well when he's chasing people down like this and there's no punish. Like, the one thing you're worried about as Victor when you're chasing people is, well, I am Victor, and if somebody sees me or catches me, I'm going to die. But when you're winning a fight like this, you just win more so hard every time.
Yeah, and now DK are going to look for their second dragon as well. They are going to be booking it around the map. Extra movement speed on Skarner as well, I think, is just kind of revolting.
Yeah.
Can always get into position, can always be there threatening the Impale, and can drive you so far away from your team if he ever does catch you.
Brand new John Deere.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, DK just in a really good spot. I really like the Blackfire Torch as well, because I feel with having Deathfire Touch back,
it's so
you've
strong.
got Deathfire Torch.
I mean, it's
back
just
into the game as well.
Well, I mean, it's like both of them work so incredibly well together, where you're just basically stacking up damage over time with both of them the longer you're in the fight. And because no one can kill you, you're the one who's in the fight the longest.
Yeah, and you're just doing so much tick damage with your Arcane Storm, with the fact that, you know, at the end of the game, your buttons just barely have a cooldown.
But when you have Shadow Flame as well, you're kind of doing burst as well. You're just doing everything if you're Showmaker. And
oh man, Smash also completes his Rapid Fire Cannon. He is starting to really hurt, and also just the bursts from those energized shots is going to feel pretty bad. Aiming does have the LDR though, and so he could be a hero in these team fights.
Kind of kill Lucid a little bit. The Randuin's is going to help a lot, but Shiu the target.
Yeah, going to get ulted as he's going to look to try and kill Cuz. Another Wild Growth comes in though as Effort is going to show up, and there is a dead Jace.
At some point, D+ need to support their pushing side laners.
Yeah.
This is kind of rinse and repeat for KT. They're like, all right, if we all press R, we kill the guy.
Hang on.
Lucid.
Cloud Rift really isn't helping KT here, as Lucid was just driving very, very quickly towards them. And this should be a turret taken down. That's a good shove back, as Lucid does get disengaged. But Aiming is split pushing here in this bottom side. Yeah, I mean, Bidity is made up for that early game flub by a long way with a lot of these follow-up plays. Unfortunately, it's just too little and it's too late.
The problem is, like, I'm actually starting to wonder if D+ are winning out on this. Yes, they're getting the inhibitor turret. They should be able to get the inhibitor, but they're just giving KT so much free space to actually get so much money that they can team fight now. And I don't think this game should be losable. But
down by a lot.
I don't think this game should be losable, but all it takes is one team fight. When you look at the tools that KT have and how simple it is for them to kind of just Weaver's Wall in, Wild Growth somebody, then a Fury, namely, sets up the combo and kill that fed Victor, that arm guard feels like a good choice, you know? Because if he dies straight up, like Smash has 3 times already this game because he's been caught, because the mobility and the ability to follow up on the Weaver's Wall is so easy here for KT that gold lead doesn't necessarily feel that great. Like, the inhibitor will keep KT occupied there on the top side of the map, which is the opposite side of the map where this dragon is spawning, so that's very good for D+ getting their 3rd Cloud Dragon, but it does feel like there is a weird way where one great combo could win this game for KT.
They do need to stop these. Okay, that shove was phenomenal. BDD really hitting so many of those in exactly the way he needs to. But there is only one inhibitor left, Wolf. That's the thing that I'm a little bit worried about, because we have super minions conga lining down. And yes, they managed to deal with these side lanes, but if DK just keep them busy for a little while, these Nexus turrets may just explode, and we need to remember, you win the game by killing the Nexus. And these minions might actually just do that if KT aren't careful, and they are definitely not going to be able to challenge for the next Drake, for the next Baron probably either.
And they need to clear that top wave as well. They're putting so much damage into the champions, but they need to actually kill the minions as well, as BDD is going to go over there. He is Talia. He's going to make quick work of it. They just need to defend for the next 5 minutes, really. I mean, 3 minutes, I guess, total for the inhibs. And then they will be able to maybe get a team fight into their hands. As right now, it's just kind of playing tower defense at this point.
Yeah, and I feel like DK have built what is like the closest thing to a siege comp that you can build these days. I feel like siege comps used to be a thing, but they sort of haven't been. This kind of works. Caitlyn is pretty good at just getting close to your turrets and hitting them from a pretty safe distance, especially with that rapid fire cannon done. As DK will be able to clear out these waves and just slink back into the fog of war. 1 minute on the Baron, 40 seconds on this Cloud Drake. That'll be sole point for DK or KT. They're able to pick it up.
I just think at this point, for D+, all you need to do is make sure your carries are positioned well. If they don't die, if they don't die for any silly reason, which is the threats of the KT dive composition here, then you win the game. Like 10 out of 10 times to 100 out of 100 times, right? There's no way you can lose this game. But if that happens, like if those carries get blown up, you could still somehow, some way lose this game. But like right now they have the inhibitors, they have mid push, like Showmaker can solo the dragon, by the way, and I think he actually will, and this is exactly the correct way to play this if you are D+. Now that Smash has his wave clear, he's going to come over here and help him out.
And he's going to die instantly now that Chiyu is also in the vicinity. So
yeah, it's basically going to go from 100 to 0 in 2 seconds, and now you just need to like play through your waves. Don't let anybody like, KT can't actually catch anybody. They can't actually do anything proactive, surely, right? Right?
Well, Cuz is coming over. Seismic Shove this time is going to miss as the Scuttler is just going to be slammed against the wall. It's Cuz that does manage to get that irremovable vision. That is a big deal. As Showmaker and Smash making their way in. That dragon was secured by Chiyu in the end. Showmaker doesn't quite find very many of these buttons. Lucid looking for a bit of an angle here, and Showmaker is so aggressive. I think that might have been the feedback that they got from CVMAX.
Yeah.
Is that they need to play a little bit more aggressively as BDD, I believe...
He wanted to get a shove over the wall there, I think, but could not quite get there.
It almost looked like he dashed into a trap. It was a bit of an odd maneuver, but still, doesn't quite find the angle.
There's no way KT just like buy time and win this game, right? No way.
I mean, it's feeling a little bit eerily similar to that,
aiming
time.
He's 800 gold ahead. He has IE. He's like taking red buff. He's level 16. He has just been able to, he's the Gold King. He's like, there's money, I will find it. And he has found a lot of it. He's like, oh, trinket, I'll take that as well, thank you.
Auto Reminder isn't completed here for Smash as well. He's behind on items, like a decent chunk. He must be sitting on a bunch of gold.
He's got to be, but KT have done it. Like 30 seconds left on this inhibitor. They have staved off the pressure of that Baron. They have gotten themselves to a position where they can actually 5v5 fight just one time. That's all it's going to take for them to win this game. It would be incredibly crazy. I mean, it would be, D+ fans would be losing their mind. Cronny, you know, he's like, I'm used to it, I'm definitely fall for it. If they lose 0-2 to KT in this series where they had great positions in both games, but this second game position was even better. I mean, unbelievable lead for Showmaker. Like game 1 lead, it was there. Game 2 lead was like, my God. He still has his arm guard. There's one team fight here for D+. Is all it's going to be, all it's going to take. But like, I don't trust that they can get it done with what I'm seeing on my screen right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, especially now with KT's ability to push out these waves. And she was moving towards the top side. That is going to create a pressure point. And it's obviously very easy if DK are ever given spare time in side lanes to just destroy inhibitors, right? They do not fight back. But still, Cuz taking a bit of damage here. Chiyu makes his way over. This Jace is very scary. Still has a huge lead. Now has the Serpent's Fang completed as well. As DK on the march. And can KT actually find an angle to make this one happen? Good light binding connects onto Perfect.
Some chunk damage onto aiming here. Smash is positioned incredibly well. Very difficult to punish him.
This is the problem though. KT do not have a range advantage.
Yeah, they don't. So they're losing the poke battle. And that means D+ are eventually going to get Prio on this Baron, and they have the damage to do it very quickly. Their turn is also pretty strong with this Skarner pick, and it's, you know, a Yorick on the other side that isn't necessarily even going to be able to join this Baron.
Yeah, and they have to walk through traps as well. Like, as soon as the map gets dark,
I mean, they have enough
difficult.
now. I think they should start this Baron. Like, D+ should start the Baron. They're just kind of pushing waves, and now they're finally coming over here. They're finally interested.
Yeah,
but they've lost
blue buff first.
Right, they're taking the blue buff, they're taking the Scuttle Crab, and now KT are like, all right, well, we got a little bit of Prio back, and we have to rinse and repeat here. His effort's going to take a big hit.
Yeah, they don't want to let this get anywhere near a 50-50 by the looks of things.
That Shirelia's gone, so that's a pretty significant advantage. I think much more valuable than the ace in the hole. And now, surely they will start the Baron. Because they don't want to rush the Baron, they just want to force the fight with it as Xiu.
Seismic shot gets dodged. That was beautiful footwork there from Xiu.
Showmaker's angle here is quite strong.
Yeah, perfect on that flank. He's relatively tanky, but the Gravity Well needs to be flashed. Lucid now taking a lot of damage from aiming.
D+ played that really well, but I think they've taken so much damage that they're going to actually have to relinquish control of this mid lane for the first time in a long time. And the lead just keeps halving. It was like 8K to 4K, and now it's 2.5K here for D+.
Yep, they've just been picking up these waves. Perfect went home and is now able to defend this inhibitor as well.
I mean, he's getting so much money because he's the only one who's farming the side waves. Like, D+ are basically K-ramming this game. And finally, Showmaker's going to go pick up some money. He's has not been able to use his arm guard because they haven't team fought. But I think with the lead you have as D+, just like game one, it's like, use your lead. How are you going to get a fight if KT aren't going to fight you? You go to Baron, you turn off the Baron, and then you kill KT when they come at you. You got a Skarner with Flash and Impale. You've got so many angles, but now KT are like, oh, we have Prio. It's actually our control over Baron that you're going to have to be defending, which I feel like should have never happened in this game.
Yeah, and at least Mortal Reminder is now done for Smash, but KT, they were able to walk over and actually clear vision around this Baron.
This is unreal that they're even standing in this position right now.
Well, DK, they will be able to push them away. 13 seconds, though, on this Cloud Drake. DK just needs to send one person over to take it out. And we'll see whether they do manage to take it. Quadra Cloud Soul allows you to run pretty fast.
And for Baron in exchange, okay, Lucid should be fine here, but D+ will eventually have to pull the trigger, right? Like, I know Light Binding is, you have to hit it to start something, but maybe Lucid could find a flank. BDD is actually looking for his own angle right now with Cuz.
Yeah,
so
good defensive vision is going to be there. They see Cuz, but Lucid going to get slowed down as he drives his way out. Weaver's Wall to try and catch Korea. That seismic shove so close. That could have been a really pivotal moment.
I mean, D+ run away, but they lose control of the Dragon as a result.
Yeah, and you got Showmaker now just dealing with this mid-wave as well. DK somewhat out of position and is 50% health onto Lucid. He's taking so much as Smash gets over the wall, and Cuz is going to follow Smash, takes him out. No AD carry to start this fight, and KT are able to regroup. They're going to get their own soul point.
They get soul point here, and D+, I mean, all they can offer is a final spark. Career gets hit.
Oh no, that's slow, actually a huge deal. As there is the ult forward from Cuz once again, is perfect on that flank angle. He's going to show up, takes down the Lux, and he's going to survive as well. Shovel to the head, and down will go the Scorpion.
What a huge fumble from D+ in this series, twice in a row. KT in a commanding lead in this game now. I'm not talking about the 500 gold lead, which is their first of the game. They are going to get this Baron, and they're going to get tons of map control. D+ are in serious trouble. This Caitlyn is 0-4. And I don't know how else to say it, but there was no macro from D+ in this game, and KT are literally running circles around them. They had 2 inhibitors down at one point, and D+ could not get either of these critical objectives. KT, what a comeback! But I really like, their resilience is insane, but D+ also, I think, really dropping the ball on this one.
Yeah,
I cannot believe this is happening. Actually,
it's like
wait,
back
did
to
this
back.
actually happen?
Back-to-back indecisiveness, really causing a problem. That being said, KT have been utilizing this composition well. The fact that Cuz always knows that he's going to kill Smash every single time. The Wild Growth combination with the Neferi is just so difficult to deal with.
Is it an issue that, like, I mean, looking at it, is it because D+ couldn't ever find the angle to engage with Lucid? Like, I mean, that's I think what D+ defenders will probably say here. You know, they have a Lux, they don't have a Nautilus, they don't have a Leona to just press R and go in. But I think they should have been able to start Baron and turn off of Baron. I think that was the biggest mistake from them, is just not taking that opportunity while the inhibitors were down. And now Baron is against them. Their base is being sieged. And I don't think KT is going to shy away from actually pushing this advantage much further.
Yeah, Cuz looking for a little bit of an angle here as Lucid. Just trying to make sure that he has everything defended. These minion waves will not last very long for KT, even with the Baron. But the Weaver's Wall, that's going to help them lock down this turret. And I think Talia would be a good part of a siege composition as well.
Yeah, now they're going to look for this mid turret, and I think it's definitely gone.
Yeah, and like think about this, right? Like we were just watching DK in this position. They weren't able to put on nearly this much pressure, even though they were, I guess, able to get 2 inhibitors in their push as well. But I don't think KT are going to be stopping here, as they're fishing for seismic shoves. Shiu in a lot of trouble is aiming. He just presses the R button and takes out the Jace. He might be in a bit of trouble, as now Cuz is going to get taken down. Smash able to grab that kill, but the first Nexus turret is going to get taken down, and Lucid just gets shoved back. That's another kill, though, as the Unara is going to fall. 2 Nexus turrets are on the floor, but DKs stay alive.
There's so much of a wave here on the top side. BDD is just going to go proc that crystalline overgrowth, and I think they should be able to get this before D+ can respond, because they have to deal with the minion wave in mid. Now, pushing this third one is a little risky with Showmaker here. They have a huge wave. I think they should just back away. It's just not going to be enough, I don't think, here. Showmaker is Victor. He's going to clear this one up, and the inhibitor will survive. And I think that's still the right call for KT to just walk away there. They lose more, and then it's a disaster.
That's both Nexus turrets down, though.
Yeah. And that means any TP threat, I mean, it's really only the Yorick who has it, of course, in this game with the Talia, but you could backdoor it for sure. It's something they'll have to think about when that TP is coming up here in a few seconds. In this final defense, you know, I think KT went a little bit too deep, a little bit too far here, but I think they know that in this position now, they're in such a great spot if they just walk away, because they have so much control now. And unlike D+, they're the kind of team, when they have a composition that'll turn off Baron, they will take that chance the next time. They will threaten this Cloud Drake and look to either, you know, rush it down or actually turn off of it. They'll be decisive with this lead, and they have the Weaver's Wall, so they have that extra mobility and collapsing power over D+. And I'm, again, still kind of in shock here.
Yeah, it's not over, but it feels very close. As KT moved to their first gold advantage of the game, he saw it in the graph. As Lucid gonna have to drive his way out of this one.
It's just demoralizing almost the situation at this point for D+.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen it with this team before. This indecisiveness. I think it was, you know, back in the times where they had Kellen and they were complaining about shot calling and blah, blah, blah.
Extremely similar.
Yeah.
Extremely.
It did look a little bit like they'd kind of sorted that out in their last few series. It's rearing its ugly head once again. And I feel like it is because KT are the second place team. They managed to beat them last time. And maybe the nerves are starting to kick in or something like that for DK. But it's not over just yet. Showmaker having to tank up these ghouls.
The ghouls are so annoying.
20 Yorick.
And like that third inhibitor is down.
Yeah, if they get any space with this Nexus, it's really difficult. DK need to pull the trigger, and they need to do it soon. Otherwise, aiming just hits it 3 times, and they just take it out. Lucid is going to take so much damage here. Shiu goes to the skies in a big way. Aiming going to send him there as there's the shove back onto Showmaker. Smash trying to do the damage, but the Nexus is getting taken down, and KT going to pick up a 2-0. Nothing to see here. Just clean as you like.
D+ were indecisive, and then in game 2.
I mean, he did. Honestly, he made up for it perfectly. As oh my goodness, aiming. That was
a statement.
That was definitely a statement. He ripped a CV Max piece of paper in half.
We saw Kellen was too quiet. Maybe Baron was a bit too aggressive, a bit too decisive. Career comes through here, and you know, again, is a rookie, right? He doesn't have that veteran voice, so maybe that's part of why D+ are still struggling when things don't go the way they should have gone.
Yep.
And the final moments for KT.
Yeah, BDD just telling him to slow down. And feeling like they're a bit more animated this time around now that they're staring down the barrel of a 2-0, try and get back on the horse and claim a solid position here in second. As, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's impressive that KT managed to bounce back, but I cannot help but look on the other side of the rift and see the struggles for DK, who is starting to piece things together, Wolf.
It's definitely 2 sides of the same coin in this one. Both KT having great resilience, but also D+ just not. Does Aiming get it or does Cuz get it? I voted for Cuz. I think he was instrumental in both comebacks. I think Aiming had an incredible series, though. He was able to just make gold appear out of nowhere and pop off. And
yeah,
I 100% respect this vote. This is not a boom boom damage vote. He played aggressively when he needed to. He found the money. His Ashe was impeccable in game 1. He just said no to the Scion. And he actually moves up to 3rd place here, just 100 points behind Zeka.
Yeah, and alongside his teammate BDD as well, with those 300 points. I think that Aiming is the no-brainer choice. Absolutely incredible.